Will the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chairwoman Amoroso.
Here.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Voss.
Here.
Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairwoman Ortiz.
Here, evidence of a quorum is present. Everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Freeholder Sullivan, would you lead us?
Thank you. Please join me as we honor America. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing as we offer 3 moments of silence for Christian Aravas, Carol Otis, and Hector Figueroa. I would like to take a moment to honor Christian Aravas, a 14-year-old from River Edge, recently graduated 8th grade from Riverdale Middle School and was a beloved member of his class. Christian died in a boating accident just days after moving to Florida. A GoFundMe page has been set up to assist Christian's family with their move back to River Edge. Christian will be missed dearly, and we send our thoughts and condolences to his family during this difficult time. I would like to reflect on the passing of Carol Otis. Carol was a lifelong educator and a friend. As a Teaneck resident, she taught for 33 years, including family and consumer science at Teaneck High School, before becoming a valued trustee at Bergen Community College, most recently serving as its chairwoman. As a board, we extend our deepest sympathies to Carol's loved ones, her husband Donald, 3 children, 3 grandchildren. We'll miss her on both a personal and professional level. We would also like to have a moment of silence for Hector Figueroa. Has affected many lives throughout our county as well as the country, as he served as the president of the Service Employee Union 32BJ for the past 7 years. Mr. Figueroa has passed away on July 11th at the age of 57 of a heart attack. Though he had a reputation as a towering figure in New York, this loss is felt throughout the country. Mr. Figueroa has represented over 165,000 service employees. He will be missed dearly, and our thoughts and condolences are with the family, friends, and all those impacted by the leadership and dedication of Mr. Hector Figueroa. Thank you. Joining us tonight are Fran Carrasco, Commander of the Bergen County, New Jersey American Legion, along with Centennial Committee members. We have Pass County Commander and Committee Chair, Michael Burhart, County American Legion Vice Commander, Raymond Stitz, Bergen County Sons of the American Legion Commander, Keith Barnes, Leonia Post Commander, Richard Palka, Pass County Auxiliary President, Joanne Sifo, Hasbrook Heights Pass Commander, Patrick McCarthy. This year will mark our American Legion's 100th anniversary. We are honored and thankful to recognize the 100 years of service to our county's veterans, their families, and communities. In honor of our centennial celebration, we would like to present you with this commendation written from the Freeholders. So I guess we can all join in and we'll come down. It's in honor and recognition of the Bergen County American Legion Centennial Celebration. On behalf of the nearly 1 million residents of Bergen County, we thank you for 100 years of service to the county's veterans, their families, and communities. Mr. Carrasco and the committee, if you'd like to come up maybe and say a few words. Come up. Right here, right here.
I don't think you heard you say a few words.
Would you like to say a few words?
Okay. Yes, could you join me out here, please?
Yeah. Oh.
On behalf of the American Legion and all our posts in Bergen County, we're very honored that the Executive Board has chosen to honor us on our 100th anniversary. We really appreciate that. I know the county also does take care of our veterans and helps our veterans, and we really appreciate what you do for our veterans and ourselves. Maybe you want to do that first.
This is the one I just read on behalf of the Freeholders and on behalf of the county executive. Whereas the Bergen County American Legion Centennial Committee has devoted countless hours to its mission to bring recognition to the Centennial Post of Bergen County and will host a Centennial Gala in their honor September 29, 2019. On behalf of 1 million residents of Bergen County, I extend our heartfelt congratulations to Bergen County American Legion and its members as they celebrate the organization's centennial and offer our best wishes for another 100 years of continued success and service to the veterans and their families. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Congrats.
Just let us stand in the middle. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. I mean, just wanted to let you. Right?
Everybody's good? There we go.
Squeeze it.
Thank you again for everything you do for all the veterans and
Madam
families.
Chairman, on behalf of the Bergen County American Legion, our Centennial Committee, we'd like to present to you with our
Oh,
Bergen
thank
County
you.
Centennial
Oh
Corner.
my God, thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all the posts.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No,
Thank
We
you.
appreciate everything you all do.
No, thank you. We appreciate everything you do for our veterans and our families. And we have here AJ, and AJ might want to say a few words as well.
Well, all I can say is I learned from the best, the American Legion. So,
you.
And I'm not gonna tell you which post I'm part of, but it is in Bergen County. And I know Fran took the helm. I worked a lot closer with Bob Salvini. When he was here, he spoiled us tremendously. Great commander. And I know Fran's gonna take the helm and he's gonna do just a great job. And we're here to support each other. So anytime you need something, please come find me. I'm on the second floor.
Excellent.
You know.
Definitely. It's a two-way street. We thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you.
Lemon ice.
Thank you.
Best. Yum, yum.
Will the clerk read the minutes to be accepted?
The minutes to be accepted are June 19th, 2019, public session, all present. June 26th, 2019, work session, Freeholder Tonelli absent.
May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Move the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimously approved. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will now have the hearing of the general public with the 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the board attorney will announce the time has expired. Please fill out a slip of paper with your name, address, and general topic you wish to speak about. Sal, Salmonetti. No,
Ready.
No, Moretti, I'm sorry.
that's not what it says. Sal, Kagitha? Oh, I'm sorry. That's all right. I'll start with Sal and I'll have you, I apologize.
Go ahead, Ms. Moretti.
Two Sal's here?
Yeah,
There's
you're,
Just me.
you're
You're the
first.
first, Sal.
You're the
Okay.
first son.
I've got 23 seconds. I am a graduate of New York Law School, which I went to late in my career. I was curious about by the way, I'm from Paramus, Salvatore Moretti. I was curious about the facts of Samuel Seabury and Mayor James J. Walker and the relationship they had with Franklin Roosevelt due to the oncoming World War I, World War II Depression events which produced a highly legalistic society, but one in which residents in Bergen County, of course, were not from a highly intensive living system such as Manhattan. I went there in order to find out what the school was like, and I had attended Fordham College and, of course, George Washington University as well. Now, the issue, of course, was that although the tuition was $47,800 a year for the students, the question was that they weren't receiving the jobs which they had hoped for. And Judge Schweitzer in the Supreme Court of New York dismissed the case, as one would expect. I myself was a little bit concerned about the quality of the student body. The books, of course, were quite good. They were quite common. My reason for being here today is I brought down a petition for cert. Since I had lived in Washington, D.C. for 5 years, and since during the Cuban Missile Crisis, I walked into the White House. John Kennedy was there with the ambassador from Russia. And of course, with my background in Cuba, the ambassador recognized me, so I was invited to stop over, resulting in the relationships of Robert Kennedy, et cetera. Now, in this petition which I've submitted, I received it back, and I would like Dr. Valls to take a look at it and see what she feels as to the predilections in Ray, the notice received from the clerk of the court. I thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Maybe, let's see if we can have, do you have a stamp or something? So you can actually so have some indication of having been here tonight?
It's on the record, Mr. Moretti. It's on the visual record, and it's on the actual recorded document of this meeting. So,
You don't have any stamps?
no.
No.
I can make a copy of that for you if you'd like, for John.
I have a copy. Here, take this, and this is the petition here.
No, he wants you to take that, Patrick.
Take it for Dr.
That's for
Voss.
Dr. Voss.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Moretti.
Right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Sal Gagetta? Hello.
Sai Geeta.
Oh,
Saigeetha.
I apologize for the mispronunciation.
Good evening, officers. We are from the FI Recreation Club, and we are here to invite one of the freeholders for presiding the function in the event.
Oh, okay.
So we would just wanted to meet before the meeting started, but I think it's good to meet all of you in one place. So, and we can explain more about our event sometime if you can give us an appointment. I mean, anytime. I mean, you can just contact us.
What is the event? and when
It's
is
on
it
the
being held?
28th of July. That's next Sunday.
Okay, and it's in,
It's in the Leonia ground.
okay.
So we are about 90 players who are playing cricket, the
Oh,
game
cricket.
So towards the end of the program, we would like one of the officers to, be the honor of guest.
Oh, thank you so much.
And we have.
Yes.
Oh, you did.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yes,
received
I
an
tried to
email
contact
as
you
well.
this
And I'm
evening.
gonna try, but I don't think I can make it on the 28th.
Okay, I mean, if anybody would, that would be great pleasure.
Thank you so
I
much.
have an invite, so
Okay.
please, we just go and go ahead and just look
Sure.
at it.
You
Give it to
take-
Patrick.
Give it to Patrick. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
They have 60 guys.
Joe Christian? Oh, I probably
No,
missed,
it's too soon.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, he's
oh,
supposed to
oh, he's a go, I'm
Sorry, we
sorry.
called you out of order, sir.
Jean Stella?
Jean Stella, Closter, New Jersey. You know why I'm here. I'm here to ask again that you end the ICE contract. I do realize I'm not completely uninformed about it. I do realize that there has to be a plan. And I hope that the plan has started. I know you all care about it. I know that, you're my Democratic representatives, and I know that I just feel we're so complicit in this. And what's the limit to how many beds will we fill? Is there a limit beyond how many beds there are? Because it seems to still be increasing. I went to a meeting with First Friends the other night, and it was that they say it's now over 500. So, and I know it was 472, so it's a really close number, and somebody could be saying that it's over 500 and it's not, but it seems to just be, the number keeps going up. It's jail, and these people are in jail, and I hate for us to be complicit. And First Friends has a bond fund. I mean, maybe we could put some of the money that we're taking in towards the bond fund to get some people out where we would know. I know that a lot of the concern is that they're going to be going to a worse place. But, jail is jail. This is not, a lot of them are non-criminal. Most, actually, more than 60% the last time we were able to get the records. That's a lot of people that haven't really committed a crime that are in jail. They can't, it's 90-something degrees the other day, and I could go get a shave ice or something. I mean, they can't, they're just stuck there. I just can't see how it's a humane way to treat people who are looking to just have a life. We are separating them from their families. Every person has a family. There are very few who have no family members whatsoever. We maybe aren't taking children away from them like they are at the border, but we're separating families. There was a pregnant woman that was in the Bergen County Jail who had children. And she's out now, I believe. But that took a lot. And as long as we're complicit in this ICE contract, we're complicit with the policies that are happening now. There's more and more people. They're going around to try to round people up. I mean, obviously that was a stunt. I get that. But they are doing that. We have an ICE office in New Jersey. I know we're taking overflow from New York, but what's the limit? At what point do we say, well, this is enough people in jail that don't belong in jail? It's just not where human beings belong.
3 minutes, Ms. Stella.
Thank you.
Joe Christian?
How are you? I'm Joe Kryzak. I'm the Vice President for PBA 134, which represents the sheriff's officers and the corrections officer here in Hackensack. I came here basically on behalf of our guys. We wanted to thank the sheriff and the county executive for helping us out with the air conditioner situation. He got us portable units. As of today, they were all fixed. That means a lot to everybody, the officers, and including the inmates and detainees. I just kind of want to comment on what you just said. The count is way below 400. It's probably in the mid-threes. Less than 11% are people that did not commit crimes. So 89% of them have been committed or charged with a crime in this country while they were here illegally. As far as the conditions in the jail, while the air conditioning was down, they were brought ice on every single shift, bags of ice, anything that was able to make them more comfortable. I didn't intend to come here to address that, but while I was here, I heard that I don't think you're getting a clear and accurate representation of what really goes on. Nobody in the sheriff's department has anything to do, because the attorney general says they're not allowed to do roundups or raids, and we don't participate with that. That's all I really have, unless you have any questions on that.
No, I appreciate you coming, and I'm glad that we were able to help the the detainees and the inmates during our situation with which, it's out of our hands, and I'm glad that you addressed it right away, and I appreciate that.
One last thing, talking about separating families and stuff, I can assure you, anybody in this country commits a crime, the first thing to do is get separated from their family. If I go home and have a domestic with my wife, I'm getting separated from my family. That's just the way the system is. We didn't create it, that's just the law. That's something else to think about, The sheriff, I know, is actively working on contact visits for them, so that people that are in an unfortunate situation will be able to hug their child, hug their loved ones. It's an ongoing process. There's obviously security things that we have to address. But, we do above and beyond to make sure that all the rights are afforded to them and they're in the best possible condition. Being worked in other jails, I've worked in state prisons, I've been to probably almost every county facility. I can say that Bergen County probably gives the best service and maintains the best facility there is. Anybody that feels otherwise, feel free to challenge me on that. But I think a lot of that has to do with the support that you guys give and the sheriff gives us, and the tools to enable us to provide that service. K-R-Y, C as in zebra, S-I-A-K. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your time.
Thank you. Chuck Powers?
Chuck Powers, TNEC. I'm here on a personal matter tonight. I want to thank you for your moment of silence for Carol Otis and say a few additional things about her. Those of you who know her as a person who, with 2 separate terms, served so importantly in the Bergen County Community College, and most recently as the president of the college. Many of you know that she, for 35 years, ran the Community Scholarship Fund in TNEC, which has provided unbelievable support to the graduating students, both public and private school, actually. My own mother-in-law actually was the first president of that organization that is still going since 1957 to now, is in large part, most recently, because of the vigor of Carol Otis, who was there again just a month ago to award these scholarships to these kids. Those of us who have to go to too many funerals because of who our compatriots are rarely see much diversity when we go to a funeral home, as I did tonight. And there in that funeral home tonight was an incredible diversity of people, race, ethnicity, age. Rarely do you see the kind of age, you have a few family people, but the incredible diversity of people who were there tonight to say goodbye to Carol. And I thank you for having done so. She was not just some sweet old lady. She had very strong views, as many of you know.
Yep.
The last time I talked to her, I thought I was going to talk to her for about 6 minutes. That's all I planned to. And we were on the phone for 45 minutes, and she had very strong views about how TNEC is being governed. She has very strong views about the role of academic achievement and excellence as a way to actually provide paths for people who would not otherwise have them for the rest of their lives. Carol Otis, we'll miss her. Thank you.
Thank you. May I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I sat with Carol Otis on the Bergen Community Board, and she was definitely an unbelievable person. She was an absolute leader, and she really gave so much of her time, and she was loved by all the students, by the staff, by all the faculty, and she definitely is going to be missed, like I said, not only at Bergen Community College, I know in TNEC, and many of her students who still talk about her this day. So it's definitely a loss to all of us here at the county. Thank you for talking about her. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions of consent are 73919 through 76919.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk?
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairwoman Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 6 ayes, the consent agenda is accepted.
Are there any resolutions non-consent pulled or tabled?
There are none.
We will now go into our ordinance for first reading and introduction, ordinance 1923.
Ordinance 1923 is a bond ordinance amending Section 3 of Bond Ordinance Number 1917 of the County of Bergen, finally adopted on June 19, 2019, in order to revise the project descriptions therein, referred to therein.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1923 as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 6 ayes, 1923 passes first reading.
We'll now go on to our ordinances for second reading and adoption of ordinance 1919 and 1922.
Ordinance 1919 is postponed until our August 21st meeting. The ordinance needs to first be reviewed by the local finance board.
Will the clerk read ordinance 1922 by title only?
Ordinance 1922 is a guarantee ordinance securing the Bergen County Improvement Authority's county guaranteed revenue bonds, Northern Valley Regional High School District Valley Program Acquisition Project in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $5,200,000. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1922 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, June 21st, 2019.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 1922 to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is open with a 5-minute time limit in effect to speak about ordinance 1922 only at this time. The board attorney will keep the time. May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1922?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there any board discussion on ordinance 1922?
Chairwoman,
Yes.
if I may. This is just another example. I'd like to thank Joe Lupino and the administration and BCI for working. This is just another opportunity that the county has to extend the AAA bond rating to Board of Educations and municipalities where it's a win-win for everyone. They get a break and save money on their bonding acquisition for such a worthwhile project as this. I'd just like to commend them as well for taking the steps to purchase this property. And I'd like to thank the administration for pursuing this. Thank you.
Chairwoman, I'd like to, so this purchase is for the former Catholic School Immaculate Conception in Norwood by Northern Valley Regional High School District, and it's for the Valley Program for Autistic Children. The program has been growing steadily, and they've been moving from one set of rented quarters to another. There are about 180 students are there at the school already, ages ranging 3 to 21. And as Freeholder Tinelli said, this allows our excellent bond rating to cover this $5.2 million in bonding.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1922 as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chairwoman Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss.
Yes.
Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
With 6 ayes, 1922 is adopted and passes second reading.
We will now have the Freeholder Committee reports. I'd like to start with Freeholder Gans.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I will be brief. Earlier this week, I attended the swearing-in of the new prosecutor, Mark Masello. He's known to many of us of the New Jersey Bar. We were fortunate enough to have our former prosecutor, and now the Attorney General, Mr. Graywall, also in attendance. It was a strong reminder to all of us of the opioid crisis that is at hand, and I want to say that I thought that the message that they gave, and it was pretty much everyone, that this is the crisis of the era, and it's one that we are going to have to increasingly devote our attention to. Those of you who may have noticed that some of the freeholders are wearing jackets, and some of the aides are even wearing sweaters, cardigans. You might ask yourself, why is this happening when it's 100 degrees outside? The air conditioning works.
About time.
Thank you, County Administrator. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder Gans. Freeholder Amoroso?
Yes, thank you. Last week, we attended the installation of our new Bergen County Ambassador, Danielle Morano, who is the sidekick on the Elvis Duran show on Z100. This is part of our push to make Bergen County even more of a tourist destination between our historic sites, our parks and reservations, our restaurants, and our stellar malls, including Garden State Plaza, Bergen Town Center, Paramus Park, where the new Stu Leonard's is, and of course the American Dream Mall in southern Bergen County. Danielle loves to shop, so she is perfect for this ambassadorship. As Freeholder Gantz said, on Tuesday we attended the swearing in of our new prosecutor, Mark Musella of Woodridge. It was a very meaningful ceremony, and I want to talk a little bit about the prosecutor's story. Prosecutor Musella spoke of his Italian immigrant dad, Gabriel, who grew up on an island off the Italian mainland and was forced into servitude by Nazi occupiers during World War II. When Gabriel's island was liberated by Allied forces, Gabriel decided he would emigrate to America. It took him a long time and many stops along the way, but Gabriel finally landed in Woodridge in 1960, where he worked as a laborer for Joseph Muscarel and was a member of Laborers Union Local 3 in Passaic. At the age of 92, Gabriel died in February before his son Mark was nominated, but his immigrant story made possible our new Bergen County prosecutor. And lastly, I want to point out that I was surprised and excited to see advertising on the side of a bus today for our Bergen Bites Back initiative. I don't know if you know, but we actually have a bug specialist on staff at the county, and we have a campaign to get on top of the various ticks and bugs that do damage to our public health. The bus was promoting tick drop-off, but this is one of the many services by our Bergen County Health Services Department. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Freeholder Amoroso. Freeholder Voss?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was very happy that we had quite a few 4th of July parades, and they were just wonderful, and it makes me very happy because so many towns were not celebrating as they should. And I have to say, thank you. I'll use my teacher voice. I have to say that there are many people who, unfortunately, do not know what the 4th of July is all about. I had somebody come up to me and say, "What's the 4th of July?" And I said, "It's Independence Day." And they said, this was an adult, and they said, "Independence from who?" And I said, "England." And they said, "When was that?" I said, 1776. So we have to do a little bit better job of teaching people the history of our country, which is so wonderful, okay? And so anyway, that was my story, and hopefully I will never have another person come up and ask me what the 4th of July is. Newbridge, which is the hospital that used to be called Bergen Regional, is doing fantastic work, and it continues. And we had a press conference the other day because now Blue Cross Blue Shield is going to be affiliated with Newbridge, which is going to make the hospital much more accessible to people who are on the Blue Cross Blue Shield plan. I also went to the prosecutor's swearing in, which was really, really impressive. And the speakers were all wonderful. But the thing that impressed me the most was that we are a very diverse county. And at the end of the ceremony, there's a benediction. And members of the clergy from the Jewish community, from the Muslim community, from the Christian community, both Roman Catholic and Protestant, joined together to say the benediction, which impressed me tremendously, and I was very, very impressed with that. This morning, I went to the Disability Board because one of the things that we try to take care of our veterans, but we also try to take care of those who are disabled. And I tried to help, and I did help, someone who was very physically challenged, and they were on the verge of losing their home. And they were a student in Project Literacy, which I'm very much involved in, and the tutor called me up and said, how can we help this young lady? And I said, we finally have a disability ombudsman here in New Jersey, and his name is Paul Aronson, and he is just fantastic. So many people who have disabled relatives or who are disabled do not know how to get the help, and we have the help. It's just accessing it that's very, very difficult. So this morning, Paul was there, and as I said, he was the first person I got in contact with, and he is going to help this young lady. And people need to know this. So just remember, Paul Aronson on the state level, he is the Disability Ombudsman. This afternoon, several of us went to see the next undersheriff sworn in. We have a great department, a police department, sheriff's department, and I'm very, very proud of all of them. And just one more thing, because I always have to give a little history lesson. The 50th anniversary of the landing on the moon. This is so important. Many of you up here are way too young to remember the 50 years ago, but I'm not. And I remember it very, very well. And it was at a time when this country was really, really down in the dumps. We were in the middle of the Vietnam War. The Kennedys had, Robert and Ed had been assassinated, and our president had been assassinated. And we really needed something to make us feel alive again and to get out of the doldrums. And this was wonderful, and I hope that in the future we continue in our space program. Maybe some of us will live to see a landing on Mars, but who knows. Anyway, thank you very much, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Sullivan?
I hate going after her. Just to follow up on what Freeholder Voss was talking about, Paul Aronson, I've had the opportunity to refer people to him, and he is wonderful.
Yeah, he is.
So please keep that name in mind if you need any help. I just want to talk about shared services as usual. The board passed a resolution, 75119, a shared service agreement with Ridgewood for floodplain protection planning services. As evidenced by the many of our recent rainstorms, we don't just have rain, we have monsoons. These types of plans are becoming more and more critical to Bergen County. So it's great that the county is able to offer municipalities a critical resource at a much affordable cost. And we continue to do things like this, as was pointed out with our ordinance tonight, how we continually share in services and helping Bergen County run more efficient and at a more costly. Some county news, if you all remember, in May, we recognized Erin Emery of Teaneck High School for becoming the first ever high school girls wrestling state champion in New Jersey's history. I was pleased to learn that because of Erin's success and publicity, the Bergen County Women Coaches Association announced that this upcoming season, they will host the first ever Bergen County Girls Wrestling Tournament and crown the first ever Bergen County Girls Champion. So I know Freeholder Tonelli loves to hear all about wrestling. They vowed to take him on after they win, and my money's on the girls. And in closing, I want to mention Carol Otis, who was part of the Bergen County family, who was just a wonderful person. My condolences to her entire family. What a wonderful person to deal with, and she will be missed. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder?
Thank you, Chairwoman. So first, I'd like to just wish our new prosecutor best of luck in these trying times. Anybody that attended the ceremonial swearing in this week, and to hear his credentials and his experience, he's going to need it, and I think he's the perfect person for the position with what he brings to the table. So I just want to wish him the very best as he takes on this crazy challenge. Of course, my iPad was unlocked through 5 reports. Okay. So the only other thing I'd like to report on tonight is I'd like to thank my colleagues for their support of Resolution 769-19, which will bring the much-needed renovations to the tennis courts at Riverside County Park, the first in a number of projects that will take place at that park in the upcoming year. I'd like to thank the Parks Director, the Parks staff, the administration for overseeing this tedious process and bringing it to this point. I also, again, want to thank my colleagues for having the courage to fully fund open space here in Bergen County, showing our commitment to preserving and restoring the open space that we have. That concludes my report. Thank you, Chairwoman.
Thank you, Freeholder Tonelli. I hate being last. I'd first like to thank all our colleagues who attended all the parades and all the fireworks, and just to see all the communities come together for 4th of July festivities. It was definitely, I couldn't believe some of the turnouts in some of the towns that we attended. I also got the opportunity to attend Hometown Heroes, which this is actually done twice a year by our Congressman Josh Gottheimer, where he takes the opportunity to thank all our just people from our community that are sometimes not recognized and all that they do. And I actually had the privilege of nominating, bless you, Nancy LeBove, who helps combat opioid addiction, and she's the head of a program called Alumni in Recovery. Alumni in Recovery is an unbelievable program because it's mostly young people who go out to schools, mostly middle school and early high school, and usually they have attended those schools. So it's a great way for the students to actually connect with these individuals and hear their stories and everything they've gone through. And it's really a great program. And I'm so happy that I was able to nominate her, and that she continues to give to offer this program to all our schools throughout the county. And we were lucky enough to have our very own AJ Luna and Julia Orlando, who are also honored for homelessness for veterans and everything you do for our veteran services, and Julia, who's just unbelievable with the homeless shelter, and she just does an incredible job. So congratulations to both of you. And to all, actually there was, I'd say about more than 30 individuals that were honored that day, and it was definitely a great event to have attended. We mentioned iHeartRadio. I'm a big fan of Danielle Monaro. I think she's going to be an unbelievable ambassador, and she definitely is very excited. I listen to her every morning, and she's constantly commenting now about the county, so I'm very excited that she is part of it and that so many people listen to iHeartRadio. So it was definitely one of the best to have chosen to represent us here in Bergen County, and that she also lives in Bergen County. I also attended a historic moment at Bergen Newbridge Medical, where we finally accepted a private insurer and one of the biggest ones, which is Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield. And even though Newbridge Medical is considered a safety net hospital, it has unbelievable programs and so many services that they offer, and there's just so much that the hospital can do for our residents of Bergen County. It is literally right in the middle of the county where so many of our residents have access to. And like I said, I know it's in the middle and it's the central of the universe of Bergen County. Everyone can attend, so this is a great opportunity to our residents. I'd like to congratulate our prosecutor, Mark Masella, and I also like to congratulate my good friend, our new undersheriff that was sworn in today, Orestes Alvarez, and I congratulate the sheriff for continuing to diversify all the sheriff's officers that actually reflect our community at large, and how important the jail is to him since he has over 25 years' experience and he's bilingual. I think this is another great opportunity for to have our undersheriff talk to all our inmates and those who have difficulty, speaking, communicating. So I think there's a great opportunity to him. He can bring all his experience to the jail. And I just want to thank Anthony Curitin and the whole sheriff department for an incredible day. And I think that concludes my report. Thank you. There being nothing further to come before this meeting, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned at 7:54 PM.